Hello and welcome. Welcome to the resume coaching session. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours and however long as it takes, so don't worry about rushing it. Just going over resumes, and we're going to try to cover US, UK, New Zealand, Australia, India, pretty much most of the countries. We're going to try to cover what it is expected when you write your resume for different countries. And I'm going to try to, the way I've made this presentation, I've actually spent a whole day yesterday making this, is to make it focus for majority of the people out there. So I hope you like it. So this is a little bit of hygiene and what to expect. So this is a coaching session for knowledge sharing. So you are encouraged to take notes and focus on listening and absorbing all the information that come your way. If you feel, you missed something, don't worry, don't rush. I am recording this, I'm going to be uploading this and sending you a download link. Yes, a recording will be uploaded on YouTube and also sent to you directly, just in case you want to download it and keep forever. And I'm going to upload it on YouTube on a private channel as well, so you can always view it. So there's no rush. Please keep your questions for the end, because the thing is that because there's so many people on the call, right? And I'm so exhilarated by the amount of people there are. I just want to make sure that we cover the portions that I want to cover, and then we sort of like club all the questions at the end. So please mute yourself, just because we're recording this and we want to make sure that the recording is as crisp and on point as possible. The last one is please keep your questions to maximum 2, and the reason for that is because we've got 40 people, maybe more, will be joining in, as 105 people are invited, so I'm assuming some more people will join in as well. And I just want to make sure that we give everybody a chance to ask questions. So try to sort of think of questions that are coming your way, write down on a notebook, and maybe I would have answered them along the way, or maybe somebody might have asked anyways that question, similar questions. So try to find a question that maybe no one has asked, and that is sort of unique to you and your skill set, and we can do that. So a massive thank you to everybody who love me, who support me, who've been on this call, incredibly patient with me and investing in these templates. These templates we've been working for a long time. Tanisha is actually the designer who designed it, and we tested it together, worked on it. So this has been a long journey, and we actually never wanted to make them live because they were sort of just for my clients, and just had an idea like, why not share that love? And we did, and you guys gave us all your love. So thank you. Okay. What are we learning today? So we're learning to number 1, ATS, because you guys bought the ATS resume templates. So you guys already, I'm assuming, would know ATS, and I would give you a little bit background on it, and how to master the keyword game. I say this quite a lot on my Instagram, is keyword game, similarity ratios. So we're going to talk about that. And work experience summary, how to write that. A lot of people face problems that, hey, I work in retail. I just, I don't know, work in H&M and help people with their clothes. I don't think I have any KPIs or deliverables, right? Or I just work at McDonald's and I don't really have any KPIs. So how can I write that work experience summary? Or, I'm an integration specialist and I've done multiple projects, but I really suck at writing. So it's, if you sort of come in that generalized category, this is going to be your section you want to pay attention to. Awards, achievements, or projects, how to explain those, nailing your skills section, and nailing your personal summary. So it's divided in these 5 parts. Let's go forward. How to use your template kits. I know someone out there might not have tested it yet. So there is an instruction manual in every download. If you didn't get it, let me know in an email and I would personally send that to you. There are YouTube videos as well for Windows and Mac. If someone like me who has a Mac laptop and things go wrong all the time on Mac, you might want to watch it. You definitely should watch it. Windows is a lot easier to use because of MS Word and how easy it is to use. But definitely check those videos out. I've tried to make them as informative as possible. But yeah, let's go forward. ATS and keyword game. So the number 1 section of today's session. ATS, as you guys know, is applicant tracking system, which is a hiring software, because 90% of the time when you're sending your CV, it will be read by a robot because, for example, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, all these big companies, they have thousands and thousands of people applying for this job, and they may only have 5 people in the HR department, and they may only have one grad maybe filtering through resumes, right? So it's physically impossible for one person to screen through thousands of resumes for one job, and imagine if they have 15 jobs. So what they do is they have applicant tracking system, which is a hiring software which sort of screens your resume and filters out the candidates, so like a sieve. Yes, so 90% of the time you will be going through or interacting with ATS unless you're going through referrals or you may be applying for startups. So we need to make sure that because those 90% of the time our CV is going through a robot, we want to make sure that it is ATS friendly. ATS works by creating a similarity report, as I said earlier. How ATS works is it has a job description that the company has written, the skills, the requirements, the responsibilities section, and what you'll be doing in this job. And ATS will do is it'll read your CV and sort of match it. And that's where the keyword come in, the keyword game. Keywords are basically words that are mentioned in the job description that you need to mention in your CV. It's as simple as that. Each job description on average has 25 skills, so interpersonal, technical skills combined. And each job description has more than 50 keywords. Now, you might be thinking, okay, 25 skills with 50 keywords, are you kidding me, Divya? Like, how is that even possible, right? And I'm going to show you why. Because sometimes job descriptions can get repetitive. They may mention all the time, we want someone who's great communicator or customer service support or customer experience management, all of those things they might keep repeating, and that leads to keywords. So keywords are really important to pay attention to. And I don't know if you watched my YouTube videos, but definitely watch it. Because they're exceptionally useful, I think. Not because I'm in it, and not because I've just started YouTube. It's because I go a lot slower on them as opposed to my reels. And in my YouTube video, one of them that I made, Anatomy of a Resume, I specifically mentioned how I decode job description for my clients and for myself. And how I actually do is I convert the job description to a PDF, and I literally mark it, because PDF has a marking option, and mark the keywords, because doing that physically or electronically actually make you see how many keywords there are. Really, really important. Try it and let me know if that feels useful. So let's go into an example. So this is an example of integration lead job description. So I got this off Seek. I hope it's visible to you guys. So TVNZ, which is the television organization in New Zealand, is looking for an integration lead. And if you see, blue color represent interpersonal skills here, and yellow represents technical skills. And this is just the skills. Can you imagine that? Skills / keywords, how many there are. It's bonkers, isn't it? In a good job description, okay, I get it that you might say that, hey, I see job description with just 3 bullet points. Well, because recruiter or the business have not put in much effort into thinking what they want from you, which is when you're going to go in an interview, you're going to feel confused at what do they exactly want, what is important for them. That's why that's one of the red flags of a company. But if they do put in the effort in writing and explaining what they're looking for, what is important for you to have it, what are the non-negotiables in terms of skill set experience, what are the negotiables, that also helps you sort of prepare for interviews. So good job descriptions are like your key to clearing the interview, and your key to writing your resumes. So let's start from the top, where I'm going to the second sentence here. Being the technical leader in this function, the integration lead will play a crucial role in designing, implementing, managing solutions, and ensuring that they are fit for purpose and future-proof. So see, they've sort of given a generalized version of what integration lead looks like in their organization. And if you're doing something like that, if I was in your position, if I was doing something like that, I could sort of understand how I can write my resume, how I can write my cover letter, how I can actually script my answers in an interview. So important you download and keep a PDF document of your job description, especially the ones that you really want, especially the ones you think you have a knack at cracking. Definitely do this exercise. If you look on the first bullet point, the yellow line, the most of the yellow parts you see, there are more yellow parts as opposed to blue parts. So that means it's a more technical heavy job description as opposed to interpersonal heavy job description, and that's fine. That's completely okay. Which shows me, just from a preliminary view, that for them technical skills are way more important, and they want certain skill set from the integration lead. For example, C++, OOP, DDD, TDD, patterns, integration, Azure, etc., etc., if you can see. So those are the things that you need to make sure is present in your technical skills section, and also it may be present in the projects you've led at work, if, for example, you might be going for this job. And also make sure that you are able to diversify your work experience section with that. So really, really important. Now look at the blue parts of this job description, which is talking about agile development environment, agile methodology, maximizing team performance, business acumen, resource, commercial, time constraints. Oh, can you guys see it? Oh yeah, you can see it. All of these things, as you can see, they are talking about the interpersonal skill set that you require from, because you're in a lead position. You're obviously required to have strong communication skills and strong ability to deliver while thinking from a customer standpoint. Cool. Let's go forward. I hope. Oh, you want me to zoom into it? I don't know how I can zoom in, to be honest. I'll try my best. But if I mess it up, oh, there you go. Can you guys see it now? Hopefully it's zoomed in enough. So I'll just talk through it just another 2 minutes, just for people who wanted me to zoom in. So the yellow parts are technical skills, and the blue parts are the interpersonal skills. So if I was going, now this is a senior management role job description, and I get it that some of you guys here might be graduates and wouldn't know what to do with this, and that's okay. What I'm trying to make you understand is the more higher you go in your career, the detailed the job description is going to get, and also the level of requirements from your resume is going to get higher and higher, and you'll have to spend more and more time into writing it. So the way you can cut that time and be smart with your time into writing your resumes is, number one is understanding the keywords, and that comes by just highlighting, hey, these are my interpersonal skills that I require, these are my technical skills, and this is what I have to make sure that I write my CV around it. You might be thinking, okay, so do I have to change my CV for literally every job I apply for? Yes and no. So for example, if you are an integration lead and you've been in this similar role before, you might actually make the first CV you might make, for example, if you were applying for this role, might take you a week minimum, right? A week, because you might do multiple drafts, right? The first CV is never the final CV, let's be honest. But the next job you might go, your job description you might apply for might be integration specialist with another company, but the technical skills requirements will be similar. Maybe the projects you might be leading, or maybe the company you might be in, and what's important to them from an interpersonal or certain technologies perspective might be different. So all you'll have to do is you'll have to just tweak your resume a little bit once you've got that first final draft. But to make that very first final resume is going to take you some time. So just be patient, just be kind with yourself, and just enjoy that process a bit, okay? So let's look at this graduate accountant resume. I'm gonna zoom in again because I know somebody mentioned. Okay, so now we looked at a senior role. Let's look at a graduate role. And the reason I wanted to put these two opposite sides is so everybody sort of is covered. Okay, they're looking for a highly motivated and enthusiastic graduate accountant to assist their finance team in Auckland. Successful candidate will be responsible for assisting with various accounting tasks such as X, Y, and Z, like GST, reconciliations, all of that. Must have a strong understanding of MS Excel. They've already mentioned that. Now, responsibilities. Assist with invoices, accounting, POs, GST, reconciliation. See, again, it's repeating. Now, this is what I was saying. The skills might be 25, but keywords might be 50 because they're repeating the GST, they're repeating the purchase orders, they're repeating the invoice entry, they're repeating the reconciliations. So you know that they're repetitive. So if you do have these in your resume, these words, they're going to lead you to lead to an increased similarity. And that's just how easy it is to think from that perspective, which is why highlighting is the most efficient way of writing a CV, and I still do it. So you're working with finance manager, you're collaborating with team members. So obviously they want somebody who can collaborate, talk, network. They're also looking for somebody who's independent, so can work on their own, don't need to be micromanaged. And in terms of qualification, they're looking for, accounting degree, MS Excel, strong understanding of, again, see, they're mentioning purchase orders, accounting principles. So they're repeating quite a lot of these things. And in terms of interpersonal skills, again, the generic ones that we expect from most job description: adaptability, sound decision making, organization skills, time management. And this is pretty much a job. If you do this exercise today, when you have time, this can actually help you write your skills section and understand, okay, this is how I need to write my work experience section. Cool, let's go forward. Okay, how can you sprinkle these keywords just like you sprinkle confetti sprinkles on top of a muffin? How do you do that? A cupcake, not muffin. Number one is use your interpersonal skills section, which is your skills section. So as you may know from my Instagram, and I know I am over assuming here, is that your skills section should be divided into two parts: interpersonal and technical skills, correct? So you can sprinkle the interpersonal skill set. So if, for example, the job description say ability to adapt, right? And that is quite a long sentence. You could say adaptability and flexibility, right? So that's a keyword. You've sprinkled that keyword. So use the interpersonal skills section to sprinkle the blue parts, which is the communication aspect, collaboration, working under pressure, etc., all the soft skills they need. And use the technical skills section to talk about the yellow parts, which is your frameworks, which is Microsoft Excel, Azure, AutoCAD, Revit. Sorry, I'm running out of softwares, but Photoshop, etc., right? You can put those in your technical skills. You can use your work experience section. I'm going to teach you how to do that later on. But how you can, just a bit of FYI, is how you can sprinkle in your work experience section is you can literally think about the last time you've reconciled the end of the month, finances, and how you may have found a loophole in your taxes or saved taxes and how much percentage of savings it led to. So this is how we can optimize the work experience section to even increase that similarity, thinking from that perspective. And I'm going to teach you, so don't stress over it right now. Personal summary, oh my gosh, so important. Personal summary is, I know I'm holding my head right now, but I know a lot of people feel like that when they write their personal summary, and that's because personal summary is the hardest part of your resume to write. And I kid you not, I find it hard too. I've written over 400 resumes, and when I write somebody's personal summary, I'm just like, oh my God, what do I do? Because you only have 3 sentences. You are so bogged down by the word limit or the sentence limit, and you don't want to put fluff words, and you have to put keywords in, that it has to be very condensed. My trick usually is to write the personal summary at the very end, leave the worst for the last. I always do that. And that always works because then you're not stuck at one thing that delays the rest. So just getting the easier things done quicker. Okay, let's take a closer look. So this is a graduate data analyst resume that I've written as actually a part of my exclusive resume revamp club. I am yet to post that YouTube video. It's coming in 2 weeks. And for people who don't know, it's like a scholarship program where I write CVs for free. So I pick out one person every 2 weeks out of so many people who apply, who pitch why I should write their CV, and I basically do that. So definitely worth a shot applying for it if you guys want to. Cool. So let's go into this resume. So this is a graduate data analyst resume. And if you see the blue, and let me just zoom in. I know you guys must not be wondering what the hell. If you just zoom into the personal summary section, you'll see how the blue and the yellow parts are. So basically your interpersonal and your technical skills and keywords, basically your keywords are sprinkled. So many keywords in your personal summary, which makes it hard. Personal summary has to be very condensed with keywords. So coming down to technical skills, programming languages, C++, Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, frameworks. So it's really good if you're from a technical background. If you can divide your skills into different sections would be really good, because it just makes a lot more easier for the recruiter to read and a lot more presentable, in my opinion. Let's come to personal skills. So website development, practical decision making, pragmatic problem solving, supreme organization skills. So again, the job description might have said you should be a good problem solver. So we've written pragmatic problem solving. So we've pretty much just amplified the personal skills section a little bit. You don't have to write word to word, and you never want to write word to word, because when an actual recruiter is going to look at it, they're going to know that you copy pasted from the job description. So you do want to tweak it up just a tiny bit. Accountability, ownership, dashboard development. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this CV here for a minute. I'm out of water. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to run back and come back, but you read this CV, okay? Give me 1 minute. All right, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. I'm just gonna wipe the camera a bit. It was dirty and it was clearly aggravating my OCD. Let's look at it. Let's look at the job work experience section. Built an Android application successfully to identify 10 best fit applications, thereby minimizing the permissions. Of minimizing, that means you're optimizing processes as a data analyst. Asked by built application to 1. So she's obviously minimized the permissions through time management, coding, Slack management, expert attention to detail. So all those things that you see, time management, coding, Slack management, expert attention to detail, are keywords. And that's how we've used it in the work experience section. Let's go to the next. I'm going to teach you all of these very slowly, just trying to walk through the resumes a bit. Oh, there was no CV after this. I should have added. But let's just go quickly down then. If you look at the education section, because this person's a graduate, I have made sure that I write their subjects they've studied, but not exactly the names, but the concepts they studied, to increase the similarity. And this is something you guys can do as well. So when you write your CV, just make sure that you see these blue and yellow parts, and you can see. So one other exercise I like to do is, once a CV is ready, I like to highlight all the blue and yellow parts. So I also know, are the keywords good quantity or not? It's always a good practice to do that. Okay, work experience summary. So now that we've gone through the keyword and I've given you good understanding of how you can sprinkle your keywords across different sections, let's go into the work experience section. I think somebody's trying to come in. Let me just let them in. Okay, they've been let in. Sorry. Work experience summary. Now, people who might have watched my YouTube video, again, coming back to YouTube because it is so resourceful, guys. Watch the YouTube video. It's so important. So much free information there. The what, the how, and the impact method. Now, this is something that I've created on my own. I'm not sure it's present on Google, but definitely Google it. Let me know if it is present. And this is how I remember how I came up with this idea. Was when somebody was asking me, how do you write it? Why do you write your work experience summaries like that? And the only way to teach you is how do I structure it? It's just 3 points: the what, the how, and the impact. So number one is the what did you do? So even on calls when I'm with my clients, I always ask, okay, you are, for example, a marketing specialist, and you might be doing influencer marketing across North and South India. Great. Tell me what kind of campaigns you did, what kind of projects you led. So ask yourself this question: what projects did I do? What applications did I do? What exactly do I do at work? Do I do customer calls every day? Do I do escalation management? Do I upsell products? Do I do marketing campaigns? Do I assist with bookkeeping? So what do I do, right? Number two is, how do I do it? Do I collaborate with people every day? Do I network? Do I leverage connections? Do I negotiate? Do I work out a content calendar? Do I make an Excel file to do data entry properly? Because I work in a startup that has been using pen and paper the whole longevity of their business, and I have to make it a more digitalized. What do you do? And how do you do it? Number three is, what was the impact? If I go to work and if I'm doing XYZ applications, XYZ projects, no matter how big and small, what impact they're having. So for example, my day job, guys, is I'm a civil engineer. So, and I work in the Water Council in New Zealand. So I have a government role. And what I do may sound very boring to people is that I go to work and I process engineering applications. So when somebody has to build a house, let's say a 3-lot subdivision, 3 houses on a land and dividing it, and they want to connect their water meter, they want water on their property, they want wastewater, they want stormwater. They come to council and say, hey, can we connect to the public assets? And I'm the engineer that sees if we have the capacity to do it, if we can, how much it's going to cost to connect, how can the design they're making is compliant with New Zealand code. So that's the job that I do, and that's the impact it has. And the impact it has is that it helps increase water and wastewater assets for New Zealand government. It helps us increase development in New Zealand. So that's the impact I have, right? And that's just more of a community impact. If I tell you what I do from a financial impact is I bring in revenue for the council. So for the government, because we bill through billable hours, through applications, through assets, through traffic management, etc., right? And I do that by collaborating, networking, talking to developers, engineers, architects, etc. So this is just an example of what I do. And this is something how you need to think for your work experience summary section. So let's go into some examples. And before we go into example, just want to say no job is big or small. Even if you're working in a KFC and you're just taking takeaway orders, you're doing something, you're optimizing things, you're working hard. You're maybe think about how many orders a day you pack, and how have you efficiently increased the productivity. Maybe, you pitch something to your manager, maybe you help them with the roster or cleaning or customer support or whatever it is. Think from that perspective. Okay, let's take a look at Gorika's resume, who's actually one of my clients. I actually wrote this resume 2 days ago, and I thought it's pretty good, and I'm proud of myself, and I thought I'll just include the recent one. So Gorika is a social media influencer marketing associate. So basically, she deals with influencer companies in India. And if you look at the very first bullet point, I hope it's visible enough. Single-handedly managed and oversaw 20 plus campaigns per year across North and South India for health and wellness brands, skincare, etc., through brand consulting, brand awareness, influencer collaborations, and influencer research. Now, let's dissect this, okay? There is a lot going on in this line, and you might get a bit scared watching this line. So let's dissect this a little bit, yeah? So I've pasted this line here, and I think all good. Knuckle's leaving the call. See you, Knuckle. The what she did is she single-handedly managed 20 plus product campaigns across North and South India. That is the what, okay? The how does she do that? Through influencer campaigns, collaboration. So basically what she did was she's a marketer for these wellness brands as a marketing agency, and she does brand consulting, awareness, collaborations, contacting influencers, negotiating rates, and getting the best deal for their beauty skincare brands, right? So that's the how she does this collaborations and networking and negotiations. The impact is success of delivering 20 plus campaigns across North and South India each year. That's a huge thing, and she does it all alone. Can you imagine doing that? That's ridiculous. Across North and South India. Of course, the two parts of India would be completely different in the culture, influences, lifestyle, what the taste of the crowd is. So see that we are amplifying her work, and that's what we want to do, amplifying the work. So the what, the how, and the impact method is really good for structuring your work experience. But the first thing you want to make sure is you talk about your action verbs. So if you look here, managed and oversaw are action verbs. Cool? And then we start with, so action verbs plus the what, then the how, and the impact could be anywhere at the start or at the end, doesn't really matter. Let's look at another example. I know you guys are getting overwhelmed. I can't see your faces, but I'm sure you guys are overwhelmed as hell. So let's look at the second bullet point here where my finger mouse is. Researched and recruited 300 plus influencers per quarter. Again, see how we're amplifying our experience by using metrics, and that's what we want to be doing. Metrics and quantifying things help the recruiter understand the extent of your skill set, and that's what we want to do. Imagine if you just say, hey, I just research and recruit influencers. But imagine if you say, I research and recruit 300 influencers per quarter. Can you imagine how big and amplified the whole skill set is? And that's what we want to do. So the more numbers you can find, the better it is. Okay, let's go forward. Through what? So this is the how. Manual recruitment, industry research, expert attention to detail, track engagement. To do what? To track engagement. So this is the impact. Metrics, community engagement to shortlist and drive client revenue. Because in the end, she gets influencers to drive client revenue, leads, sales, etc. Correct? Let's look at another one, and not in this one, but let's scroll down a little bit. Let's look at this one, social media and marketing analyst. So the last job description from the bottom. Designed 100 plus creatives for Instagram. So this is one of her job descriptions, first jobs she got as an analyst, and see how we're explaining that as well. So designed 100 plus creatives for Instagram, Facebook, and landing pages for a homeware and bottled water brand. Through what? Brand ideation, visual communication, market research, brand aesthetic. Really, really important we think about it through what? What skills did I use, interpersonal, technical, to do this role and to deliver results? Cool. Let's go to the next example. I have plenty of examples here. Okay. Let's look at the same graduate data role. Okay. So in this role, once you see my YouTube video, you'll get a lot more understanding on this CV as well, because I've made a whole YouTube video about this particular CV and how I wrote it. So this person doesn't have any work experience, and that is because they are in their final year of their bachelor's degree, which is completely okay. So how did they make their CV? A lot of the questions I get is, hey, how do I write my CV if I have no job experience? That's okay. You must have done some projects, right? Think about those projects. Explain those projects. And if you have done projects or you are a graduate, I think you're going to find this extremely helpful. So this person, Aishni, she built an Android application to successfully identify 10 best fit solutions, thereby minimizing permissions asked by an application to one. So what we did was, number one thing is, what did you make? I asked her, Aishni, Android application. Okay. What was the success of that, whatever you made? Oh, I was able to minimize permissions, and I was able to, do the whole code base, database to increase usability by 60%. I'm like, cool. These are 2 bullet points, not one, right? And how can we write that? Number one is, what did she minimize, is what we wrote, the first impact. And the second is, how did she utilize Java? So, because the thing is that if she's going for a very technical role, Java, Android Studio is going to be the keywords that we have to include. Okay, you use Java, you use Android Studio. Okay, to do what? To significantly eliminate unnecessary permissions to 60% for end of user accessibility or usage. Let's look at another example here. So she also made a guest hotel management website for one of her second year projects. Successfully created and developed a user-friendly booking management system for the university campus for guest bookings for 4,000 plus users. Now, this is something that was missing in our old resume, is the numbers. This is one thing I asked. Okay, you built a booking website as a project. Great. How many people would, on average, use that website? And this is something you can think as well. Even if you're building an application or a website for a university project that might not end up being a prototype in the industry, might not be picked by a company, that's okay. But on average, how many people are you designing it for? Put that in. How much efficiency did you increase? Put that in. What technical skills you use? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Django framework. What did you do? And see how we wrote to reduce systems downtime by 2+ hours in tight delivery framework. So really, really important when we write our work experience summary, we're using the what, the how, and the impact method to amplify our skill set, to amplify the keyword game, to amplify, the what we did. Because what we did is not what you go to work every day, you spend 8 hours there. You're not doing anything. You know what I mean? So you need to make sure you amplify your experience. Let's go next. Achievements. Okay, this is the most easiest part and section of your project. If you do have achievements, put it. If you don't crib about it. It's okay. So achievements can also be written with the what, the how, and the impact method. So let's go forward. So I showed you Aishni's one. How did she write the projects? How did we write is number one is what did she do? So what was the aim of the project? How did she do it? And what was the impact? So I think I've already went through it. So I'm not going to go over it unless somebody wants me to go over it again. Okay, I'll just go over it. I just won't. But let's go to the achievement section. So if you see at the bottom, I'm just going to zoom in here. Awards and achievements. So Aishni, she's a graduate. She's obviously doing a lot of community building, has a lot of time in her hand. So she's won a lot of second positions, third positions, volunteering. Even if, let's say, you didn't win anything, but you participated in something, put it in. Say participated in blah, blah, blah competition. Okay? Don't just, the biggest pet peeve I have when I see people's resumes is when they write their achievements volunteering, they're like, working in my university's marketing club or marketing club BITS Pilani 2020, whatever. What the hell does that mean? Give me some context what you're doing in that club, right? So think about it. Volunteered. So if you look at the second bullet point, volunteer team member for the runner-up team at Robo Olympics 2022 held at BITS Pilani, right? She's also very creative, published a poetry ebook on various online reading platforms, including Kindle, Google Books, etc. Successful record holder of 2 consecutive years, 2016 and 2017, and the Limca Book of Records and India Book of Records for fastest mental calculation in certain categories. She's obviously amazing. But what I'm saying here is, if it's someone like me who don't have a lot of accomplishments, I don't, professionally speaking, at the moment, in engineering, I would talk about, like, for example, I'm volunteering nowadays at my work. You know, there's a community. There's like a health community at work. There's like a diversity community at work. And I'm just a team member. I just help set up events. And I would still put that. Every small or big thing matters. So how you can write your achievement section is, number one, start with an action verb. Always, everything in your CV has to start with an action verb. So whether it's your work experience, so for example, built, utilize, expedited, streamline, manage, oversaw. Same goes for your awards and accomplishments. Won, participated, volunteered, published, all of these things are action verbs, start with one. Then you emphasize on the achievement. So what did you do? Second place, third place, participated, volunteered. Okay, volunteered at my local Red Cross to help with events management and social media and community engagement. See how I made it? Instead of just saying, hey, I just volunteered Red Cross. The impact. Red Cross, community engagement, largest cultural fest. The impact. Think about the impact. How big is it? Really important we write our achievement section with the same emphasize impact just as the work experience section is. Okay, skills section. Love the skills section. From my Cut the Crap series on Instagram, you must have seen I am pretty serious about skills on CV, and that's because, not just because they are your skills and they're soft skills and you should emphasize them, also because they are the ultimate keyword game. What's the word I'm looking for in English? Ultimate keyword game. Oh, I forgot the word. Anyways, so they're the ultimate thing that you can have for clearing the keyword game. So yes, 10 to 12 interpersonal skills, as you can see in this CV. Interpersonal skills are so many of them have been mentioned: accountability, ownership, dashboard development, strong leadership, public speaking, presentation, initiative driven, cross-functional collaboration. See, all of them have been mentioned, right? Technical skills. Now, division of technical skills, as I mentioned before, divide them. If, for example, you're not from a technical background like Aishni is, and you don't know programming, frameworks, database, just like I am also the same. I don't know many technical software. What I would do is I would say basic understanding of, um, industry level understanding of, and expert understanding of. So that way you can say basic, medium, expert. You're dividing your skill set into different knowledge levels you have. Basic could be you may have done a Coursera course or a Udemy course or maybe an online course. Medium level is you use it, but not as well as you would like it to, but you use it sort of. And expert is you use it every day. Yeah. Always put basic skills. So one of the things that I see a lot of people not put is MS Word, Microsoft Excel, Office Suite. And this is where you're going wrong, because 90% of the job description out there say these things. Why don't you want to put that in and increase and try to increase your similarity ratio? So important to put those in. Please put those in if you don't have it. Again, last bullet point is pay attention to keywords in the job description. Again, as I said, the only way to get shortlisted for an interview is playing the keyword game. And okay, what I'm going to say is going to sound mental, but a lot of people say, hey, why don't I just like copy paste job description, put it in white color and put it at the back of my resume and boom, I got the keyword game. No, you didn't, because, well, it's going to show the recruiter that you have 100% similarity. The recruiter is going to read your CV, won't be able to find all the keywords in there, and be like, what the hell did they do? Going to download that file from PDF or Word, open it, figure it out what's happening. And that is going to lead you to lose your reputation in the industry. New Zealand, small industry, I would never do it, and I wouldn't recommend you doing either. So don't try to outsmart, don't try to cut corners, instead get smart and better at writing resumes. And that's just the better long game, you know. It's always good to play the long game than the short game. Okay, personal summary, your elevator pitch to the recruiter. The most hardest thing to write personally for me, and I'm sure you guys feel my sentiment too. You can see on my face how much pain I'm in talking about personal summary. Don't ask me to write one right now. Really, the personal summary is something very hard to write, but exceptionally important. Exceptionally. And the reason for that is, imagine if the recruiter is passing through 50 resumes a day and they are bored, they're tired, everything sounds the same, everything looks the same, nonsense. Okay, and the first thing they're going to read in your CV is your personal summary, the 3-4 sentences on the top. And that will set the tone of whether they want to keep reading it or not, your CV. If that is boring, saying seeking a challenge, I'm applying for this job, I'm excited to apply for this job, it's not going to make them want to read it, right? The first 2-second impression is not going to be strong. So if that's not strong, they're not going to read it. Then I don't read those resumes either if the person summary is not strong. But if the person summary is strong, I would spend more time reading that resume, no matter, you know, what the decision I want to make on that resume. I would still spend more time on it. And from an ATS perspective, person summary is exceptionally important, is because keyword game, you've got to get your similarity up, so it's really important to do that. So tips for person summary: 3 to 4 sentences only. If you're based in the US, do not write it. I wouldn't recommend this, because US, you're limited by 1 page. Okay, you don't have a lot of space. You don't want to use your personal summary. Instead, you want to optimize your work experience and your skills section. So US, not important to write your personal summary. You can, if you want to, you can skip it if you want to. I would say skip it, because you don't have a lot of space to play around on your resume. Any other part of the word, put a personal summary 100%. Let's go into start with skills. Okay, yeah, skills. Okay. So your start with skills and highlight your expertise. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you should, we're going to go into an example, but you should start with analytical, pragmatic problem solver, or pragmatic, or driven, or ambitious, or, you know, these kind of adjectives, I would say. Use those in the first sentence. Highlight your expertise. So, for example, analytical data science, junior data scientist with proven track record of blah, 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 blah. See how good that sounds. Sprinkle technical skills and soft skills, including keywords, in your personal summary. 100% important. Yeah, sprinkling your technical and soft skills is so important in your personal summary. So let's go forward and look at some examples, because the best way to learn is through examples. All right, let's look at Gorika's resume from previously, the influencer marketing manager. Expert social media marketing manager. If you don't know how to start your personal summary, think of it like this way: adjective and designation. What role you have, or what role you're going for, or a similar role that you can think of, industry role. So, expert social media marketing manager with proven track record of delivering what? You can literally copy paste this template, what I have, and fix it for yourself. So, of delivering exceptional results in accelerated community engagement, skyrocketed brand presence, brand invigoration, product launch, and influencer collaboration campaigns to expedite sales through fun, creative, and innovative organization structure, strategy, social media content creation, and marketing tactics to leverage blah, 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 blah. Huge big sentence. I could have divided into two parts. I didn't. I don't know why. Can't answer that right now. But if you think about it here, can you see how many keywords there are? Social media, marketing is a keyword. Community engagement, brand presence, invigoration, product launch, influencer collaboration campaigns, another one. Fun, creative, innovative, organizational strategy, social media again, marketing, influencer, communities. So see how many keywords there are. Holy crap, right? If you also see, there's a lot of action verbs in there. So let's go to the action verbs. Accelerated is an action verb, correct? Skyrocketed is an action verb. Expedite is an action verb. Leverage is an action verb. You see, there are 4 or 5 action verbs here. How amazing is that? And this is why personal summaries are so difficult, even for me, and you're going to hate it as well. So when you're writing your personal summary, remember my voice in your head. And this is exactly the kind of template you want to write your personal summary. So start with highlighting your expertise, social media manager. Start with strategic adjectives and action verbs. Adjectives such as track record, exceptional results, skyrocketed, expedited, all good, Kriti. I hope to catch you soon, and I will send you the recording. Thanks for leaving a message. Of course, no problem. All right, keywords. So as I said, marketing, brand invigoration, sales, campaigns, influencer collaboration. You see how many keywords there are, and that's what we're going to go for. So this is why personal summary should be done at the very end, not at the start, because it's going to overwhelm you. It's going to be long. It's going to be cumbersome. So do it in the end when you've got 70-80% of your resume structure done. All right, let's go next. Final tips. Okay. Number 1, your first resume draft is never the final one. So don't be so hard on being perfect. Don't feel that when you look at this recording later, oh my God, Divya wrote this amazing personal summary and I can't even write half of it. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to others. Just try to get better every time you're fixing your resume. And because let's be honest, perfection doesn't exist, and done is better than perfect. Okay, so your first draft is never the first final one. So sleep on it. Sleep on it. Look at it the next day. Maybe show it to a friend, your mom, your dad. Ask them, what do you think? Always submit CVs in PDF format for quality assurance. Not for quality assurance role, but for your quality assurance, just an FYI. And that's because PDF formats are a lot more concise. They are readable by all ATS software. Don't put Word files, they can get complicated. I personally don't like putting my Word resume out either, because somebody can download and copy it, and PDF is just a lot better. So always put it in PDF format. Remove fluff words and overextension of concept. Now, this is what ties into the bullet point number one, is that fluff words, meaning that if you're trying to communicate, hey, I built an Android app and I did it, this and this and this. How about you can optimize the whole thing by putting more action verbs in, by putting more adjectives in, by putting numbers in. So fluff words, try to cut down the length of your sentence as much as possible. And that's going to come by after you've got your first draft ready, you sleep on it and you work on a second draft. Try to concise it. Third draft, try to concise it, okay? And by the third or fourth draft, you'll get there. Concise and clear language. Concise meaning use action verbs instead of explaining it in a sentence. Clear language in terms of like single-handedly managed, right? Instead of saying managed independently. That sounds not very concise. Instead of single-handedly managed. So try to find more concise, clear language. Active language and not passive. So no, don't write I did do this or did that. Instead, skyrocketed engagement. Engagement. You know what I mean? Instead of saying worked on XYZ project, assisted in delivery of blah 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 project. So active language, not passive. Keep your CV to one page. If you're in the US, as I said before, keep your CV to 2 pages. If you're anywhere except the US, for Canada, 1 page works really well. 2 pages also works, but if you have good amount of experience. And what do I mean by good amount is 7 years onwards. But if you're in Canada, don't sweat it. If it's 2 pages, it is what it is. People get in with 2 pages as well. It's not as strict as the US. In my opinion, people won't agree. If you have 10 plus years of experience, you can extend your CV to 3 pages, and that is okay. All right. Before we go into the QA round, just for people who will ask me questions, how can I take your help? Or I need 1 hour session with you. Can I show your resume to me? You know, all the questions you're going to have. I just wanted to put out there. This is not a marketing of, somebody's joining in. Let me just let them in. Admit. Okay, this is not a marketing of any sort, but just wanted to talk about for people who might be asking me later and sending me a lot of DMs. Oh, can you guys see it? Oh yeah, you guys can see my screen. I do have a resume review one-on-one session. Take it or leave it, doesn't matter. But this is where I sit with you for 2 hours and we work on your resume together. So I give you a lot of homework and you fix your resume, and then you come back and I fix it for you, whatever you fix. So after you write your first draft. So if you're thinking of, after you've written your resume, you want to talk to me, definitely go for it. It's super cheap. It's actually the cheapest service I have, because I know when I write people's resume, it can get really expensive, and I've gotten a lot of criticism for it. I haven't formally launched it on my Instagram, but if you guys want to go for it, go for it. If you guys do want a discount coupon code for it, let me know and I can make one for you. But yeah, this is a service you guys can talk to me personally, and we can fix the first draft of your resume. But my advice is work on your resume with the tips I've given. See if you need my help. If you need my help, contact